When love kills. The first time Maya saw him, he was standing in the rain outside the university library, soaked to the bone, laughing at something on his phone. Most people would have run for cover, but not him. He stood there like the rain was a gift, like each drop was a small miracle he wanted to savor. She thought he was crazy. She also thought he was beautiful. His name was Ethan, and he became her world so gradually that she didn't notice the shift until she was already drowning. It started innocently enough, shared coffee between classes, late-night conversations that stretched until dawn, his hand finding hers across tables in dimly lit cafes. He told her she was different from everyone else, that she understood him in ways no one ever had. And maybe she did. Or maybe she just wanted to believe she did. "You're my person," he whispered one night, his breath warm against her neck. "You know that, right? You're the only one who sees me." Maya's heart swelled until it hurt. No one had ever needed her like this before. No one had ever made her feel so essential, so irreplaceable. She wore his words like armor against a world that had always made her feel too much, too sensitive, too eager to love. But love, she would learn, could be a gentle poison. The changes were subtle at first. Ethan would call her 5, 6, 7 times if she didn't answer right away. He'd show up unannounced at her apartment, his eyes dark with worry that would melt into relief when he saw her face. "I was scared something happened to you," he'd say, pulling her close. "I can't lose you, Maya. I can't." She found it sweet, this fierce devotion. Her friends called it excessive. "He's intense," her roommate Sarah warned. "Maybe too intense." But what did Sarah know about love? What did anyone know about the way Ethan looked at her like she hung the stars, like her existence was the only thing keeping him tethered to the earth? The isolation happened so slowly she barely noticed. Dinner with friends became, "Just us tonight, okay? I need you." Coffee with her sister became, "She doesn't really get you like I do." Late study sessions at the library became, "Why do you need to be there when you could study here with me?" His jealousy presented itself as care. When her lab partner, David, texted about an assignment, Ethan's jaw would tighten. "He wants more than help with chemistry," he'd say quietly. "I can tell. Guys like that always do." "Ethan, he has a girlfriend." "I'm just trying to protect you. Is that so wrong? To want to keep you safe from people who might hurt you?" And because she loved him, because his pain felt like her pain, Maya started declining invitations, started choosing him over everyone else, started believing that love was supposed to feel this consuming, this all-encompassing, this desperate. The first time he grabbed her arm too tightly, leaving finger-shaped bruises that bloomed purple against her skin, he cried for hours. Collapsed on her apartment floor, sobbing into his hands. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. You make me feel things I can't control. Please don't leave me, too." She held him while he shook, stroking his hair, whispering that it was okay, that everyone made mistakes, that she forgave him. The bruises faded. His promises that it would never happen again echoed in her mind like a lullaby. But poison, once introduced, only spreads. The second time was during an argument about her going home for her mother's birthday. "You're choosing them over me," he shouted, his face inches from hers. "After everything I've done for you, after how much I love you, you're just going to leave me here alone?" The slap came out of nowhere. Her cheek burned. Time seemed to stop. They stared at each other, both shocked, both terrified. Then came his tears again, his apologies, his explanations about stress and his medication, and how she was the only good thing in his life, and he was so sorry. He bought her flowers, wrote her a letter listing all the reasons he loved her, promised to start therapy. She wanted to believe him. God, how she wanted to believe him. But something inside her had broken. Or maybe it had finally started to heal. She called her sister that night, voice shaking. "I think I need help," she whispered. The leaving was the hardest thing she'd ever done. Not because it was physically difficult, though the fear of his reaction made her hands tremble as she packed, but because part of her still loved him, still believed in the version of him that laughed in the rain, that held her like she was precious, that made her feel seen. That was the cruelest part of it all. The love didn't just disappear. It twisted and writhed inside her chest, a living thing that refused to die even when it was killing her. Ethan begged. He cried. He promised change with such conviction that she almost believed him. "I'll be better," he pleaded outside her sister's apartment where she'd taken refuge. "I'll get help. Real help. Just give me another chance. You're my whole world, Maya. Without you, I'm nothing. And there it was, the weight she'd been carrying without realizing it. His happiness, his stability, his entire existence resting on her shoulders. She was 19 years old, and somehow she'd become responsible for another person's will to live. It's not love, Ethan, she said through the locked door, tears streaming down her face. That's not what love is supposed to be. How can you say that, after everything we've been through? We're soulmates. Soulmates don't hurt each other. Soulmates don't make you afraid. His silence was worse than his shouting. Then, quietly, with a coldness that made her blood freeze, "You'll regret this. You'll never find anyone who loves you like I do." He was right about that, at least. She never did find anyone who loved her like that again, with that suffocating intensity, that desperate possession, that willingness to destroy her to keep her close. But she found people who loved her better, who gave her space to breathe, to grow, to exist outside the narrow confines of their need, who celebrated her friendships instead of resenting them, who trusted her instead of surveilling her, who saw her strength and didn't try to break it down into something more manageable. The healing took years. There were nights she still woke up reaching for him. Mornings she caught herself checking her phone for his messages, even though she'd blocked his number. Love, she learned, didn't always die when it was supposed to. Sometimes it lingered like a ghost, haunting the space between heartbeats. But slowly, painfully, she learned to recognize the difference between love and obsession, between passion and possession, between someone who wanted to be with her and someone who needed to consume her. She learned that real love didn't demand sacrifice of self, that it didn't isolate or diminish or frighten, that it didn't leave bruises, visible or otherwise. 5 years later, standing in a different library in a different city, Maya saw a young couple in the corner. The boy was scrolling through his girlfriend's phone while she sat beside him, shoulders hunched, explaining a text message from a classmate. The girl's eyes held a familiar haunted look, part fear, part resignation, part desperate hope that this was normal, that this was what love looked like. Maya recognized that look. She had worn it herself. She hesitated, then approached them. "Excuse me," she said softly to the girl. "Can I talk to you for a moment? Just you?" The boy's eyes narrowed. "We're kind of busy." "It'll just take a minute." Maya held the girl's gaze, willing her to see, to understand. "Please." In the bathroom, away from his watchful eyes, Maya said the words she wished someone had said to her. "Love shouldn't make you small. It shouldn't make you scared, and you deserve better than this." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "You don't understand. He needs me. He loves me so much." "I know," Maya said, her own eyes stinging. "I know exactly how that feels. But love that kills the person you're meant to be isn't love at all. It's just a beautiful name for something terrible." She didn't know if the girl would listen. She didn't know if her words would make any difference. But she had to try, had to offer the lifeline no one had offered her until it was almost too late. Because love, real love, should heal. It should nurture and support and celebrate. It should make you more yourself, not less. When love kills your joy, your friendships, your sense of self, your freedom, it's not love anymore. It's just the ghost of it, wearing love's face, speaking in love's voice, using love's name to justify its destruction. Maya had loved Ethan. Part of her always would. But she loved herself more now. Loved her freedom, her friends, her future. Loved the person she'd become after crawling out from under the weight of his need. She walked out of the library into the sunshine, breathing in the sweet air of a life that was wholly, completely, beautifully her own. Behind her, she heard footsteps. The girl had followed her out. Sometimes, Maya thought, love saves you in the end, even if it has to kill you first to teach you what you're worth.